I'm Ann Poor, today with Today News. In the 1800s, when the immigration movement was thriving in the United States, many people from many different nations came over and settled in the Chicago area in huge communities. One of these communities was the Ukrainian Village. What was once a small little neighborhood is now a thriving village with its own culture and its own history. Today, we're going to be exploring the Uki Village.
After the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, many immigrants migrated to a devastated Chicago in hopes of finding work rebuilding the city. The 1880s experienced a large wave of Ukrainian working-class immigrants moving into Chicago and creating a small neighborhood within the area bounded by Division, Damon, Chicago, and Western. The neighborhood boasted 25,000 to 30,000 Uki residents by the 1930s, and from this number came an urgency to preserve Ukrainian traditions, culture, architecture, language, art, music, and so on. The result of this determination allowed the Uki Village to maintain its roots from their home country while also creating a new identity in the city of Chicago. My interest in the neighborhood came from my dad's side of the family, who were Ukrainian citizens until they migrated to the US after World War II. They settled into another growing Uki village in Detroit, and even today we still celebrate Ukrainian traditions and holidays. I was curious to see how the downtown neighborhood connected to its homeland and what landmarks are tied to Ukrainian culture. So I grabbed my friend Alessa, hopped on the L, and trekked to the village.
Look at that!
The first landmark we visited in the village was the Ukrainian National Museum. Founded in 1952 by Dr. Miroslav Simonovich, its goal was to preserve Ukraine's history shared from the Uki immigrants in the area and provide a vast knowledge on Ukrainian life and culture. An art exhibit greeted us at the entrance, where works created by Ukrainian artist Petro Simniek were on display. His work center around dreamlike scenarios from rural Ukraine, many of which from the past are depicting famous Christian scenes. The museum displayed several Uki artifacts and relics, including the traditional pisanki. These egg-shaped designs are a staple of Ukrainian culture and are made around the time of Easter. Other collections include Uki ritual clothes or rushnike, and kilums, dolls, textiles, and so on. The museum also highlights artifacts from the Ukrainian Kozak period, which lasted from 1599 to 1711. It features portraits, sabers, and even a cannon. Despite the cheer in the museum, there is a room dedicated to a horrific event in Ukraine. This event was Holodomor, or the Ukrainian Holocaust. Before World War II, during 1932 to 1933, a then USSR-occupied Ukraine suffered a man-made famine when the Soviet Union confiscated Uki harvests and food products from homes and farms. It was organized by Soviet leader Joseph Stalin in an attempt to suppress Ukrainian independence movement. An estimated 10 million Ukrainian citizens died, although scholars believe that the number is larger, around 12 million. The museum created a respectful tribute to this traumatic part in Ukraine's history. After the Uki Museum, we walked over to one of the many ornate churches in the village, the St. Nicholas Cathedral. It was erected in 1913 by architects Worthen and Steinbeck, and it represents both Ukrainian and Eastern European architectural design. Today, it still hosts masses, funerals, and weddings. We found out about that last one when we visited.
Yeah, and you got lost and lost your phone.
Luckily, we were able to sneak in and get a few shots of the church's interior, showcasing its high painted ceiling, crystal chandelier, and the designs of Christian icons that covered the church's walls. We decided to let the family enjoy their wedding and instead find another iconic building in the village. We almost immediately stumbled upon the Ukrainian Museum of Modern Art, and even better, it was free. The museum was founded in 1971 to support Ukrainian contemporary artists and provide them a platform for their work. It now offers a variety of exhibitions, events, films, and gallery talks for international artists. Exploring the museum was surprisingly very fun, with pieces varying from thoughtful, strange, jumpy, and even interactable. Definitely an unknown highlight in the Chicagoland area. After our fun at the Modern Art Museum, we traveled across the Uki Village towards the main attraction of the village. On the way, we noticed the style of brownstones in the area, many of which displaying Uki architecture features. It was apparent in the quiet neighborhood that the community still held onto their roots from their original home. At the center of the Uki Village is its most iconic church built within the area, the Holy Trinity Orthodox Cathedral. Construction only lasted a year, starting on March 31, 1902 and finishing on March 25, 1903. The cathedral was designed by accredited Chicagoan architect Louis Sullivan, who used inspiration from contemporary Russian, Siberian, and Ukrainian churches. The emigrants in the village hoped that the new church would be, quote, remindful of the small, intimate, rural buildings they left behind in the old world, end quote. Today, they were hosting tours of the building, which we found out the hard way. Turns out they do free tours every other Saturday, and we just got lucky. The cathedral has been an integral component for the Uki Village, offering not only a place of worship, but also a community center to host events and important town meetings. The cathedral features mosaic art lining the walls, a painted octagonal dome, and icons to holy figures at each corner. The church's original bell tower was still present, and we were able to sneak a peek of it. With a long day behind us, we decided to end our adventure by eating gelato at a local ice cream shop, Black Dog Gelato. It was built in 2007 by a local Chicago pastry chef who turned her inspirations from European cuisines into reality. In the end, it was a pleasant end to a pleasant day.
I'm Ann Kaur, and thank you for joining us on our journey through the Uki Village. Melissa, can you describe this painting for us?
It's my favorite. It is an acrylic painting.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Very obvious.
Yeah, the detail on it. Can you explain the significance of it?
Well, it was very important to the artist who gifted it to this place.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, it is very special because of the tape marks.
Ah, yes, those detailed tape marks. Do you think that those are gaff tape marks?
I don't think so. It looks more like masking tape.
Oh, okay. What's the significance, you think, of using masking tape and not gaff
I
tape?
think it shows how you can tear things like paper, but it still sticks to the world.